one of the things that I've always talked about on the show is the idea that with basketball, you always live to fight another day. Brian Windhorst recently has had a similar take, kind of going around talking about how like you always have another opportunity to flip the narrative of what's going on, currently, right? Or what has happened to you in the past, even beyond the season, right? Like you could, for this Houston Rockets team, let's say the Lakers do close this out and they, cause some sort of, devastating first round exit. Houston could turn around and they could make a savvy move in the summer, and Fred VanVleet could come back, and all the young core could improve in some dramatic ways, and they could flip the script and have a great season next year, right? But damn it all, they're going to try to do it this year, and they're going to try to flip the script on this series. What were the narratives kind of coming into the series for this Lakers Rockets matchup? Houston has more good basketball players. Houston was plus 7 points per 100 possessions in the pretty large sample size without Kevin Durant. Sorry to interrupt the video, guys. If you've made it this far, it would mean a lot if you would just take a second to hit that subscribe button. Coming into in the regular season, coming into this series, right? Like the Lakers are really light on ball handling, so they could have some turnover issues against Houston's pressure. The Lakers, because of the loss of Austin Reaves and Luka Doncic, they're very light on jump shooting, right? And then what ended up happening? You get into this series and it's like, oh my God, the Lakers are making every damn jump shot they take. They're having turnover issues. They're having offensive rebound issues, but they're at least executing in the half court. The Rockets are missing everything. The Rockets are really struggling to take care of the basketball. Every young player kind of has their own, criticism that arose at various points in the series, whether it's Sengun getting targeted on defense like he did in game 2, or it's Jabari Smith's catastrophic error that sparked the comeback in game 3, or Reed Sheppard just being like flat out bad for the first 3 games of the series, right? Like kind of similar to some of the narratives we saw coming out of Hawks Knicks, right? Like Karl Anthony Towns is getting guarded by Jonathan Kuminga, and CJ McCollum is outplaying Jalen Brunson head to head, and like Mikal Bridges can't even be on the floor, and like all these like different things are taking place. And then, a lot of times as series progress, what determines the outcome is just who wins that tug of war, who's able to flip the script on whatever that narrative might be. I think Reed Sheppard has played a couple of fantastic games in a row. Between the shot making, the ability to get the Lakers defense in rotation with the reads that he makes in pick and roll, those 2 massive plays that he made tonight when the Lakers are making their late push, hitting a tough mid-range pull-up jumper, drifting to his right and pick and roll. And then he's got LeBron several times in this series with that sneaky, like Reed's a bad defender, but one thing he is good at is getting steals. He's good at just swooping in and abandoning his man and gambling because he's freaking tiny and he's super fast and he just shoots the gap up underneath you, and he just shot the gap off of Rui and took the ball away from LeBron and got a dunk. That was a huge play in that game as the Lakers were making their push. Reed Sheppard has in many ways flipped the script on the narrative that was following him through the first 3 games of the series. Alperen Sengun, his ability to continue to score in the middle of the floor and draw double teams and make the right play out of those double teams has changed the script of this series in a lot of ways, right? Like Jabari Smith, I think he's been one of the most reliable scorers for Houston in terms of just knocking down open threes, putting the ball on the floor and hitting little shots in the mid-range, finding his way to the foul line. Like the jump shooting piece, the Rockets could not make a damn jump shot for the first 3 games of the series. They were 40% from 3 in game 4. And tonight they hit 14 more threes, just constantly making the big ones that stymied Laker runs. In many ways, they have flipped the script on the narrative that started the series. I'm going to be like 100% honest with you. The Lakers still have a very good chance to win this series, and we'll talk about why. But to me, the Rockets have looked like the better basketball team since the second half of game 3. They were the better team in the second half of game 3. They blew it. They blew it with 11 terrible seconds. Jabari Smith throwing the ball away, and then Marcus Smart drawing the foul, LeBron picking Reed Sheppard, LeBron hitting the game-tying 3, and then the Lakers definitely were better than them just in that one overtime period. But the Rockets looked like the better team in the second half of game 3. They looked like the better team in the first half of game 4 and the second half of game 4. And they looked like the better team in the first half of game 5 and the second half of game 5. So, in a lot of ways, the Lakers and their experience carried them to this advantage. To their credit, they've done a great job getting to this point with their advantage, but they have really struggled since then to sustain that as Houston's talent has really started to come to bear. over the course of the series, each player has found their individual way to be comfortable, their individual way to impact winning. To their credit, I want to give Jabari Smith and Alperen Sengun in particular credit for this. Those two guys have had very much a we're the better team attitude, and they should feel that way. Like, by the way, guys, Lakers went up 3-0 in the series. Guess who was the favorite in all three of those games? The Houston Rockets, right? Credit to the Lakers for getting the lead. They might eke this series out anyway. But Houston has they've stayed with it as things went catastrophically wrong for them in the early part of this. They've dug themselves in a massive hole. It's extremely difficult to win 4 games in a row, but they look like the team that was a massive favorite before the series for a reason. I don't have the odds in front of me, but I think on Hard Rock Bet, the Rockets were something like a minus 750 favorite. That is a gigantic favorite to win a series. They are the more talented team. When they make shots, when they play smart offense, when they defend like they did tonight, the Lakers look stuck in the mud because of that Rockets defense. When they do that, they're really tough to beat. And quite frankly, if they do that again in game 6, they're going to win. And they come back home here to LA in game 7, they got a great shot. On the Lakers front, the sloppiness has continued to kind of plague them throughout the series. Just little, like early in the game when the Lakers go up 11, just like little turn, like Marcus Smart throwing the basketball away, throwing a bad entry pass, or throwing the ball right into Reed Sheppard's hands, or Austin Reaves getting picked at half court by Amen Thompson. By the way, to Amen Thompson's credit, you want to talk about a couple of massive shots. Those 2 corner threes that he hit, just absolutely massive shots from Amen Thompson. The jump shooting, like LeBron all season has been just kind of a poor jump shooter, and he's had a decent stretch here after the Luka Doncic injury where he shot the ball pretty well. But like what you saw tonight where LeBron literally can't put the ball in the basket from the perimeter, that's pretty much been the case all season. And, you know, Austin Reaves, I thought Austin Reaves came back and he provided something that was necessary, which was just steady scoring, steady ball handling, steady advantage creation. I thought he got targeted on defense quite a bit. I thought he definitely, like, one of the things that'll happen when you get away from this type of high level basketball and you're just sitting and resting, you get back into it and the speed can get to you a little bit. And where it'll get to you the most is actually on defense, because you're just a little bit late on rotations. You're a little bit late on closeouts. You're a little bit late on, like, even just that last drive from Tari Eason. If he's a split second faster, that's not a blocking foul. That's a charge, right? But he's just a tiny bit out of legal guarding position because he's just a little bit slow as he's working his way back. And obviously the shooting wasn't there, but he was able to get to the foul line a ton, which has always been a gift of his. He was able to run successful pick and roll action for efficient offense. It's good to have him back, but him and LeBron 2 for 14 from 3. You're starting to see that jump shooting dynamic from what we expected before the series really start to come to bear as Houston has taken advantage. So as we head back to game 6 in Houston, Lakers have to knock down some of these shots. That's back-to-back games where they've been really struggling to shoot under the pressure. The pick 6 types of turnovers, it's not just that they have turnovers. Like 15 doesn't seem that bad, but it's the amount of them that lead to quick runouts the other way. You gave 18 points in transition off of those turnovers. That's the kind of thing that really digs you a hole in this type of matchup. The Lakers are in some trouble. This is, again, you're going to make the Lakers a favorite because game 7 is just really difficult to win. It's a really big game where you're going to have a huge experience advantage for the Lakers. I think the Lakers are still a decent favorite, like probably like 60-40, but the Rockets look like a better team. They absolutely can win back home in game 6. I'd make the Rockets a pretty big favorite at home in game 6, and then anything can happen in a game 7. This thing is so far from over. As JJ said, as LeBron has said, you can't get comfortable. You have to kill your opponent. And the Rockets really don't want to be killed. They look confident. They look like they know they're better. And they look like they really want to get this done. And I think they have a good shot to do so.